So you want to get rich in 2026. First of all, welcome to the club. I want to preface this by saying this is not some type of hack. This isn't some overnight secret. This is going to be a system that you can use and put in place in 2026 to help you get rich. This video isn't about investing in random crypto or trying to day trade. It's about building long-term wealth habits to help you get rich and let those habits compound in 2026 to grow your income. So I'm making this video in sections. This first section is going to be about the reality check. And it's hard to say, but getting rich is boring. This is not about making one giant financial move. It's about creating 1,000 small steps and letting them compound over time. Most people at the start fail because they don't know what to do or because they get impatient, but the reality is you need to let the time work for you. The younger you are, the more time you have in the market to let your investments compound. So if you want to get rich in 2026, the first thing isn't money, it's about learning discipline and how to invest properly. Now, section 2. This is simple but not easy. It's increasing your income. If you spend every single dollar that you earn, there's not enough margin at the end of the day to be able to invest into buying assets that produce more money. If I don't have that margin myself, here's exactly what I would do to get that margin. Number one may seem simple, but it's getting a raise. Now, to get a raise, you have to make your part of your job hard to replace. You have to show off the value that you provide to the company, whether it's through, hey, I increased revenue by X%, or hey, I saved X amount of hours this week. And you kind of want to preface it as opposed to saying like, here's how much money I want to receive. You say, here's how much money I made the company this year. So that's the first step. If you have a 9-to-5 job, get a raise. So step number 2 is obviously my favorite, and this is starting a side hustle. I'm not going to get too specific as to what side hustle you should start, but instead of trading your time for money like a normal job with an hourly wage, you should look to trade your skills for money. So take something you're already good at or a good hobby and learn how to market it and sell it to people. I like a side hustle where you're not really bound by how many hours you can work, more so how much skill you can provide to someone, whether it's going to be high ticket sales, it could be graphic design, it could be video editing, whatever, anything where you're not directly trading your time for money. And to show you an example of this, one of my best jobs ever when I had my landscaping company was a mulch job. It was a $500 job. I did it solo. It was 2 yards of mulch and it took me 25 minutes. If I just charged someone at an hourly rate, let's say I'm at $25 an hour, I would have made $50. But if you're now trading your skills to do the job for the money, it's not about your hourly rate, it's about what you can provide to a customer. Now, a good side hustle isn't about working more, it's about earning smarter. And I'm biased with this as well, but step number 3 is build a business. It could even be turning your side hustle into a business. This is where things change. Now you're introduced to an LLC, now you have tax write-offs and tax advantaged accounts, and you can move your money around in different ways to write off and lower your income on tax records. My side hustle was seal coating driveways and eventually it picked up. I started doing a couple thousand a week, and now this year in 2026, it's going to be my main source of income. I'm buying company equipment, I'm hiring employees, spending money on marketing and ad spend. And this is another thing where if I charged an hourly rate, I would be broke. But because I'm charging per driveway or per square foot, in this case, a $500 job may take me 15-20 minutes to knock out by myself. And I want you to know this, that most businesses don't start big. Actually, I'd probably say 90% of them don't. They start scrappy and they work. I started with a 250-gallon tank in the bed of my truck that I got for free and a 5-gallon bucket that I would scoop the material into with the 5-gallon bucket, dump it on the driveway, and squeegee it on. Now I've got a trailer with a spray rig and a motor and a hydraulic agitator, and it's a whole lot easier, but I started with maybe $300 out of pocket. Now, section 3 here kind of goes back to what I was saying, where you have to learn how to spend less to create that margin in your income to be able to invest more. What I recommend doing is looking at your 3 fixed expenses, and this is typically going to be housing, transportation, and food. These are your fixed expenses. Now you gotta learn where to make cuts. If you live in a 3,000 square foot house and you're a single guy or gal, get a roommate. Get someone that can help you cover the cost of your mortgage. You could get a per room roommate, which is maybe $500 to $600 per month. Or if you are local to your parents, you could live with your parents and rent out the house. Now, transportation was the other fixed cost. I'm a big fan of driving a cheap truck because at the end of the day, a $60,000 vehicle will get you to the same place you wanna go as a $10,000 vehicle. Plus, you're already taking someone's depreciation. If you walk into a car lot and you buy a brand new $60,000 car off the lot, the second you bring it home and you put 15 miles on it, it's probably lost about $5,000 in value. But if you buy an older vehicle, maybe 2010 to 2015, Someone already made that decision and lost the depreciation, and you're benefiting from that because you are now buying it for what you might be able to sell it for in a couple years. Third fixed income was food. Find a way to shop cheaper, whether you go to a different store or you stop going out as much or you start buying food in bulk. Figure out ways to cook meals at your house and save a little bit of money on your dining. Now this section's a little more of a mind trick as well. It's about acting rich and not trying to look rich. A lot of people like to think that being rich means you look rich. You drive a expensive car, you have a big house, you wear designer clothes, but you've got it backwards. Real wealth is built when you take the money that you worked for and you traded your time for to buy assets that will make money for you while you sleep. This could be anything from dividend stocks to real estate syndicates to buying equity in a company or starting a company that's autonomous. Because if you never get out of the cycle of trading your time for dollars, you will never grow more than how much you can work in a given day. Now, section 5 is about what do you do with your extra money? You got to buy things that make more money. You got to buy assets and not liabilities. I mentioned real estate and I mentioned stocks. Now to hit more on that last point, I want to talk about passive income here. This is the goal for any investor. If you can develop a way to make money while you sleep, you've hit financial freedom. I'm in a Facebook group called FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. The whole goal of this group is people want to invest enough money into the stock market to receive dividends that cover their cost of living every single year. It could be as low as $30,000 per year. It could be as high as $150,000 per year. There's a lean FIRE and there's a fat FIRE. Now, passive income does take active income money to start. If you want to buy stocks, you need to have money coming in so you can afford to buy these stocks. But once you buy them, they start growing on their own in the form of dividends and compound interest. And I would also like to say that there's nothing wrong with having a job. I have a job, my friends have jobs. I just need you to know that there is a limit to how many hours you can work in a day. So the real secret to getting rich here in 2026 isn't about your income, it's about how much time you can give yourself. Money compounds, skills compound, reputation compounds, your network grows. And you don't need massive capital, you don't need a super high earning job. You just need to start and you need to be consistent with how you use your money, how you make your money, and how much time you're going to trade to get your money. When you start buying these assets that produce money for you in your sleep, this is when you will see the path to financial freedom. It's a bit of a shorter video, so I appreciate you guys for watching. If you want to follow me on my other platforms, I talk about investing in every form on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Shorts here. There's a link right here to go check those pages out. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next video.